Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Texas Sports World. And if I'm being honest, we are flying by the seat of our hat, or however flying by the.
I don't think that's the same, bro. I don't think that's it.
Flying by our seat of our whatever pants. I don't know how it goes, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Flying by the seat of our wings.
Sure, I think that also isn't it either, but we'll go with that. Okay. So we're back again, us two together as a unit. We are united as one together. I'm your host, Ethan, and this is my co-host, Isaac. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. We hope to bring you guys lots of jokes, lots of funny videos, and maybe a little bit of good sports takes here and there. I am the resident UT fan, and he is the resident Bama fan, so I'm sure we'll have plenty of arguments and discussions over that.
But we merged, though. We merged. He's a UT fan. I'm the Alabama fan, but we merge in the middle when it comes to Houston professional sports.
See, that's right. Yeah.
The only thing is, neither one of us are University of Houston sports fans.
You know, I mean, listen, I like. I mean, like, I don't love. I mean, like, you know, I root. I don't. If they play versus,
I don't really.
Yeah, I hope they do well. They gave us Tank Dell,
but I'm watching Alabama versus Mercer than U of H versus anybody.
That's
unfortunately that's just who I am. That's just the kind of guy I am. But hey, yeah, we don't really have a direction for this thing. I think we're just gonna we're just here to chit chat. You know, we're just here to talk. We're kind of in the middle of the off season. Like, we're in a weird gray area because, you know, baseball's going on, but Rocket season just ended, so there's no updates there. And then, I mean, there's some OTA stuff and, like, you know, rookie training camp stuff about to get started in the NFL, but nothing's really going on yet. And then, you know, for college football, we're kind of in. I mean, I think spring practice is already over. Spring stuff is already over. So now we're just waiting. We're just in a weird area right now.
It's I had a phone call today with somebody, and, you know, I was talking to him about the podcast and, you know, stuff like that, and he kind of explained it's like it really is the doldrums of the off season at this point. You know, there's not a whole lot going outside of, like, you know, NFL meetings was today. There was some stuff going on there.
Oh, keep going. My bad. Hold on.
No, yeah. I'm just gonna, you know, there was some stuff going on there. You know, they were regarding the tush push. You know, apparently there was a push for that to be banned, but ultimately it was it didn't pass, so it's still legal. What's up?
Let's do this real quick. Just a quick moment of silence. Not really a moment of silence, but rest in peace to Jim Irsay, the Colts owner. He passed away today. You know, it's unfortunate. Listen, while I don't like this grin that you got on, I'm just saying, very unfortunate situation. You know, in division rivals. RIP. I don't know how y'all felt about the guy, but all I know is 65 is a really young age to go.
Yeah, no, that's it. Really, I was he didn't he? Just, I was scrolling through Twitter and he just tweeted like 9 hours ago to the. I don't know.
I feel like he always. I don't know if it was him. When I first saw that, I must not really know what I'm talking about, because when I first saw him, I thought it was the dude who had the crazy bowl cut that dates that 26-year-old.
Oh, that's no. Oh, what? Oh, no. That's the dude who has.
That's the Raiders. That's the Raiders.
He doesn't. Wait, does he date a 26-year-old? Are you talking about? Yeah. Do you have Bill Belichick, him, and Jim Irsay all combined into one person?
No. Bill Belichick, I know what's going on with him. He's dating a crazy ass thing over there. But no, the guy from the Raiders, I forget. I don't even know his name. He has a crazy haircut, and then Jim Irsay. I think he also says some pretty crazy stuff. He bought like $1 billion worth of guitar or something like that.
Hey, listen, me about it. Yeah, Oh yeah, we should ask JT what he thought about Jim Irsay.
Yeah, unfortunate. Didn't like to read that.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate bit of news. I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of. I'm not, you know, we don't cover that. But at the end of the day, like you said, it is an unfortunate situation for sure. Yeah.
Shout out Jim Irsay. Shout out the Colts. I don't know how that works either. I don't know, you know, when somebody passes away, who takes? Will it be his like family who takes ownership of the franchise now. Or I think he was co-owner or something like that. I don't really know what he was.
I would
Or
assume it's
majority
probably
owner.
yeah, I would assume it's probably somebody in the family or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Because
know if we were, just wanted to throw that out there real quick.
yeah, yeah. So as a continuing, we move. The tush push. There was apparently and apparently I heard today that Jason Kelsey went to the owners meeting or thought was thinking about going to the owners meetings. He said on his podcast because there was like this rumor going around like at last year's owners meetings that the reason he retired was because of the tush push, and he was like, that is not true at all. So he was like, I might just go there to dispel that rumor immediately, because if I could just do 80 tush pushes all game, I'll do it I'll come out of retirement right now.
The tush push thing is annoying to have happen to you, which is understandable, but it's like any other. It is just a better QB sneak.
Well,
It's been in the game since forever. It's just they had a crazy amount of like all the stars aligned for them to be able to do it the way that they're able to do it. So tush push isn't a problem. There's also 9 other yards they have to get first before they can even
right.
attempt a tush push.
Well,
So don't let them get 9 yards.
the way I look at it is it's such a targeted attempt to change a rule, because it's not like every team is good at. If every team was good at it, then maybe it's. But like it's one team is good. They're just better at it. Like stop it. Like like you said, they have to get 9 other yards. Now, of course, when they get down into the inches and 1 yard line down on the end, down in the red zone, like that's something you have to game plan for at that point. If they're just better at it than you, then you got to figure out a way to stop it. And nobody's come up with a way to stop it. So they're going to try to change the whole game now. It's like you can't start changing rules to the game because one team found a way to be better at something than you. That seems kind of dumb.
And what the hell are you going to do whenever, like, because the traditional QB sneak is like hike the ball and you just kind of dive forward right on center pretty much to try to get some yards. So, like,
right.
Outside of, you got 2 running backs pushing you, what is the difference? I don't understand how it's not a bannable play, in my opinion. I don't think. I don't think.
It just doesn't like I said, they're just better at it than them. If they have the right players to pull it off, then maybe if you like, then you should try it. Like why don't other teams try it? Like it's not like a weird formula.
I bet the Seahawks are going to try that shit with Jalen Milroe this year.
Sure, dude. For sure. Why the Colts don't try it is beyond me, dude. Like that don't make no sense to me. Like have you seen this man A.R. Richardson? That's a chiseled like he's bigger than Jalen. That's a big body. Big body. He's bigger than Jalen. So and the Eagles are so good at it. Like
yeah, I think
all they do is just find a big dude back there and just have him push up on him. That's it. It can't be that much. It can't be that different.
What was the what am I trying to find out? Like the completion rate or whatever for the tush push last year? Like what is the success rating for it? Like, because I feel like with Jason Kelsey was way more successful than it was last year. Like I don't remember hearing about it a whole lot last year for some reason.
You know what? Let's you want to do something funny?
No, I do want to re-rank the top 25 for Josh Pate's college football top 25 though. Eventually, at some point in time.
Okay. I think could we let's I was gonna ask Grok what the success rate of the tush push was.
Go ask Grok. See what Grok's got to say about it.
What was the success rate?
Grok's probably not gonna know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm gonna see. Hey, you know what? We'll see. We'll freaking find out. Let's see.
We're gonna make Grok explode.
It's gonna be like tush push. What? I don't know what those words mean. Tush isn't even a real word.
What do you got?
All right, sorry. Let me share my screen. Let's see. The Eagles. Oh, here we go. 39 of 48 tush push attempts into a first down or touchdown, a 81.3% success rate.
I mean, hey, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Hate the game, bro. Hate the
Don't
game.
hate the game, hate the play. I don't know what to tell you.
But like,
Stop.
okay, but then look down here. Like these other teams have high success rates. They just don't do it that often. Do it more than if
Browns,
the
Cowboys, Packers had 100% success rate.
8 out of 8 attempts.
Okay,
9
so
out of 10.
other
11 out
teams
of
are catching on. Yeah, this is a moot point. This is a dumb argument to have. It's not going to get banned. It shouldn't get banned.
Right. Exactly.
Onward.
This is right. And we move.
Yeah, I know one thing. I don't want to see a damn. I do not want to see nary a CJ Coleridge Bernard Stroud attempting nary any tush pushes.
No,
Listen,
I don't want to see him. Look, as far as I'm concerned, he can stay in the shotgun. Why do we listen? Why not just give him 5 extra yards?
Do not give that man. Do not put that man under center. He doesn't need to be over there.
Why not just look? Your offensive line already bad. Why not just give the man 5 extra yards? Just give him 5 extra yards to give him some time.
Just so he can just do it.
At least he can get out of there. But if he's having to back up at that same time, like that seems too much to me. That seems like that's too much.
We got to protect that man. I wonder if I still am not super confident in the Nick Caley situation yet. And I don't know if that's just because of a lack of information, or if it's just I don't know. I know we drafted a tight end. I know we got I think Brevin Jordan's coming back from injury this year. Good. And I know Nick Caley's kind of like our tight end guru. But I'm nervous to kind of see what the offense looks like. Because at that point, we're back-to-back playoffs under D'Amico. If we go 10-7 again, and then because Bill O'Brien did the same shit. Good enough to make playoffs, not good enough to win anything. And he was our head coach until he blundered the
until
DeAndre Hopkins. So if that never happened, I mean, how long? I'm not saying he should be on the hot seat, but what is D'Amico's leash as far as just mediocre, making the playoffs, winning the division at first round exits? How long are we going to do that for before it's like, all right, dude, shit or get off the pot, pretty much?
I mean, that's a fair question to ask. I think ultimately we're far away from that, though. Honest, in my opinion, I feel like there's not only is D'Amico going into his third year, right? This is year 3. Yeah, so he's going into year 3. He made the playoffs. Like it's now if I would say we need to see noticeable improvement this year. Now,
okay, what is the repercussion for another 10-7 season? Because I mean, we gave Bobby Slowick 10-7, great. Okay, 10-7,
right? I'll say
go. Now it's going to be Nick Caley 10-7, great. If he goes 10-7 next year, you got to go. I mean, how long are we going to do the? Because I mean, we can always replace the offensive coordinator. We can always replace coordinators or position coaches, or let's cut some bad players. But at what point is it like 10-7 is not going to work anymore? We've got to find somebody who can do the job. That's my concern. Because we go 10-7 this year, there's almost going to be no backlash. Because what the excuse is going to be, it was Nick Caley's first year.
Right. Well, to be honest, I think it really depends on how the year looks. Because if it's one of the if it looks carbon copy of last year, offense struggles, offensive line can't get their shit right. All the woes that we've been saying from the top of our lungs till our faces were blue come true, and CJ gets hurt. We end up having to play a one-legged Graham Mertz or Keaton Slovis or Davis, whatever, Davis Mills. If all that happens, then I think it's about what. Then maybe there is an excuse. Now ultimately, I think if it's the offense is good, I think the offense then now the defense struggles next year. God forbid. Now I don't think that's what happens, but then I think what I'm trying to say, I think D'Amico has set himself up in such a way right now where he's got at least 2 years, because they're gonna, if next year's 10-7. they did exactly what you said is going to happen. It's going to be, oh, it was Nick Caley's first year. And then if, the defense struggles, then he's going to be like, then he can hang Burke out to dry, right?
Right. It's not. Well, that can't be D'Amico. Oh, I think it's more commonly known though that D'Amico's way more involved defensively than he is offensively.
Right,
So
right.
that he will have to shoulder a lot of that weight if the defense. I don't see if the defense is bad next year, somebody somewhere has got to get prison time because we are just too good to fail at defense. There's too many moving parts. There's so
I
much good
agree.
shit happening over there. You could call base level like Pop Warner plays, and then they'd probably be pretty good.
Yeah. No, I guess I kind of maybe didn't get the point across exactly what I was trying to say, but
I think more so the question is not when's D'Amico, how long is D'Amico's leash, but what is the situation? What is the end goal here? As far as like Nick Caley has two average years, just like Bobby Slowick did. Is it?
well, I mean, I don't know if you saw did you see I didn't really watch the video all the way, but there's the Texans had one of their like charitable events and Cal McNair came out and spoke and then there was like a Q&A afterwards and somebody was asked about the offensive line and as it was, they kind of spoke about it as they seem pretty confident about it. I don't know what that means exactly because you traded a Pro Bowl left tackle or placed him with Cam Robinson, but maybe we just don't know ball. I don't know. I mean, you have a degree in ball, but I don't. Maybe they have a doctorate. I don't know, man. I don't know. You didn't.
I
You
will
got
say. Oh, I was
gotta
gonna put PhD in ball, but I didn't want to. That sounded weird. PhD in ball just sounded weird to me. I didn't want to do that, so I just did degree. I will say this though, I'm a little bit more bullish. I'm buying a little bit of stock in Irsay, a little bit, not a lot. I think Titus Howard will be
But
serviceable.
we gave Cam we gave Cam Robinson so much money though. Like I think it was like 13 like a 13
Well,
million or
I
something like
think
that.
Cam Robinson will probably start somewhere on the line. I think Irsay is probably going to be a guard. Titus will probably be a tackle. Cam Robinson still has, I think Juice Scruggs will move back to center. But then we got Fisher, so like I don't know. It'll be. I think what they're going to do is try to. If I'm being honest, what it seems like, or what I'm kind of getting at, or what I'm understanding, what it looks like to me is, it looks like they're doing the year one Bobby Slowick thing, where it's just like rotate everybody until something sticks, but at a higher level, like
I
with better players, with
right.
guys who have more experience, instead of just these like, randoms. It's like,
Let me
okay,
ask you this. Let me ask you this real quick. What if I told you our ceiling was prime Bengals? Like, I mean,
I
not
would
prime. I
say,
mean, like Joe Burrow era Bengals.
well, Joe Burrow's currently in Cincinnati
Yeah,
right now.
I know that's what I'm
Like
saying.
the Super Bowl year.
Like, I'm just okay. That's a bad. Let me rephrase. Okay, so the reason I asked the question is because the Bengals kind of did this. We're doing the same thing that the Bengals kind of did in the sense that the Bengals didn't really invest in their offensive line, but invested in weapons and defense, and ultimately it got them to a Super Bowl. But
But I feel like we still have a lack of weapons. I think Texans fans on the internet are just so ready to be excited. Like I realistically speaking, if we had I don't know, like the Jalen Noel and the Jalen Higgins situation, like I get it, they're good guys, like they're really good football players. I get it. There's a lot of guys that had them, top 3 wide receivers on their draft board. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like we picked weird. I feel like not bad per se, but just weird. We just
yeah,
picked weird, I would say. And
yeah.
I think that if it's one of those situations where like high risk, high reward kind of thing. Because if Jalen Noel or Higgins, if Noel or Higgins, turn out to be worse than Luther Burden or Matthew Golden, we're going to kick ourselves in the ass and be like, dude,
Why didn't you why didn't you send that extra pick to go? And then
right.
did you see the report that came out that Nick apparently tried to trade up back to 38 or trade up to 38 to get Henderson? Like he tried to trade up with the Patriots. Apparently, people speculate it was to get Henderson. Travion Henderson.
That would have been pretty cool.
I would have liked that much better than. Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen some footage of Woody Marks. I think he's cool. I think he might fill out a role. That's great, but I would have much rather had.
I'm not big on Woody Marks either. I'm not big on Woody Marks. I feel like running backs is one of those positions. Now, I'm not saying he's bad per se, or he was bad. I'm just saying running back is one of those positions I feel like translates better to the NFL. Like you've seen quarterbacks, or like specifically receivers. They're not big names in college, but then they blow up in the NFL. You've seen that with some quarterbacks. You've seen that with some defensive guys. But I feel like running back is one of those things like, okay, if you're good in college, you're going to be good in the NFL. If you're average in college, you're probably not going to be that. I mean, I say that, but then there's guys like Arian Foster who went undrafted. So, there's always those diamonds in the rough. But I feel like that position is more consistent with good equals good.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, I could point okay, Monty Ball, one of the greatest college running backs ever. And then there was God, I had a number in my head, but I totally lost him. But I'm just I think the running back position is such a flimsy position in general. I mean, that's why there was a year a couple years ago where there were running backs that just could not get paid. Like they just would not. Like there was running backs that just would not get paid. They just wouldn't.
I think the highest paid running back was like $13-14 million a year.
Ginty, I think is like one of the highest paid running backs in the league right now. That's how deflated the market is. A rookie coming into the league is one of the top.
That's going to change. That's going to change really fast because running backs had a fantastic year last year because the whole cover two high safety situation going on. Like they took away that deep stuff that everybody was going to. So running backs had a lot more, and I think that's just what football is it's kind of like, okay, well, we figured out a defense that worked for what the NFL offense was going for, which big, explosive, long touchdown passes. Okay, let's figure that out. That's going to open up room for the running backs. And we're going to have a running back resurgence probably, this next 2 to 3 years will probably be a running back resurgence. And then we'll go back to airing it back out.
That's a good point. That's a good, interesting point that you make. I think I wonder if this offseason the offensive coordinators of the league kind of got together, maybe not knowingly, but just kind of like the vibe in the offensive coordinator world was like, we got to figure out a way to beat this. And like, I wonder if they all kind of like passed along information and like maybe somebody found something here, somebody picked something there. And I wonder if there's going to be kind of an offensive resurgence in, next year and going into the league, going into next year. Just because
as far as running backs or just in general,
just offense in general. I think defenses are going to think obviously defensive coordinators are also going to try to do something different. They're going to try to come out with different stuff too. I'm not saying they're going to be like, oh, it worked last year, let's do it again. But maybe with an off season, because ultimately one side doesn't have so much to do, the other side has so much. They're going to spend the whole. You know what I mean? I'm wondering if.
Well, I feel like it's way more easy to be offensively good than defensively good.
I mean, I feel like there's only so much, like at that level, in the NFL at that level, there's really only so many things you can do.
Yeah, because you can't get real finicky. Because the NFL skill gap is not that wide, so guys are going to be pretty fundamentally sound. They're going to stay home instead of they're not going to bite on play action as much.
Right.
Make better reads. I get what you're saying, but I feel like football is one of those sports where there's always a weakness on either side. that the job of the coordinator is to find out that's what it is. It's not like, oh, let's have this base offense that we're going to run, or let's have this
Sure,
base defense that
sure.
we're going to run and just run plays out of this. It's like, okay, this is what they're doing. Let's identify how to attack that. And that's all it's about. Is just like, what did Bobby Slowick not do? I can't think of the word right now.
Oh God,
Adjust. You got to adjust.
There we go. Yeah. Adjust or die. Adapt. Or what did Nick Saban say? Adapt or die.
Adapt or die.
You know what I mean? So that's one of those things where, you know, and to bring it all home, you know, that there, I think there's valid reasons to be worried about or have reservations about Nick Caley, because, you know, I think, and one of my biggest reasons was, and your argument, one of my biggest reasons was, is he's never called plays before, you know, and we tried this no call played before position coach in Bobby Slowick, passing game coordinator Bobby Slowick, and
I feel like that's different though than Nick Caley. I think Nick Caley comes into it with a bit more experience.
Is it though? They did the same. He's never called plays either. They did the same stuff.
Yeah, but I think Nick Caley has more experience on the back end. You know what I mean? Like, he has more. He's just been around a little bit longer. He was way more respected as a coach than Bobby Slowick was. The only reason Bobby Slowick
was getting head coaching. Bobby Slowick was getting head coaching
after
opportunities
year one. He would have never been an offensive play caller had D'Amico not recruited him to Houston. If D'Amico just was like, no, we're going to go find somebody else, he would still be in San Francisco probably.
Okay, I see your point. I see your point.
But Nick Caley was going to get an offensive, you know, at least a coordinator job.
Right.
If not this year, then next year. He already turned down coordinator jobs.
Right.
Yeah. And he's a tight ends guy. You know, he's a tight end coach. Bobby Slowick's a passing game coordinator. He should have been getting those offensive coordinator calls, not Nick Caley.
Right.
So obviously Nick Caley's doing something different than Bobby Slowick did that people like. And the only reason Bobby Slowick knew it too, that he should not have gotten that he shouldn't have went and took that head coaching job. I mean, that'd have been a crazy 1 year, you know, offensive coordinator, play caller, head coach the next year. That'd have been crazy. He'd have got eaten alive.
Right. It would have been like not on the same level at all, but it would have been like Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
You know, like Lane Kiffin going and being the head coach at, what was he, like 33, or I don't even know how, he was young. That's all I remember.
Yeah. You know, it would have been
not the same, but the scenario in the sense that, like, they were, you know, young, and then
I'll put it to you like this. Like, well, actually, that's kind of a bad comparison. I don't even know. Does Bobby Slowick even have a job right now?
I mean, yeah, he's the passing game coordinator for the Dolphins. Pretty sure.
Cool. Good for him, I guess.
Yeah.
As long as he's not in control of any offensive line. I will say this also. I do know, or there's been reports that I've read somewhere where it's like Bobby Slowick wasn't allowing CJ Stroud to audible or call pass protection at the line or something like that.
Did you hear the report? It came out a while ago, like a while ago, that that in his pre-draft interviews.
Oh yeah, they got into it.
Yeah, he was like,
well, I mean, think about it. Think about it. At Ohio State, and he's like, I don't give a fuck what they did at Ohio State. But then, you know, going into it now, there's reports saying that CJ Stroud wasn't allowed to audible or change pass protection or something like that.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Makes sense.
You
know, so maybe you're right. Maybe there's more. And I think a year 3 CJ. I think that's a big development. I think there's going to be a lot of development there.
He's been real quiet this offseason too compared to last.
You think hey. Not on the pods, bro.
All I'm saying is I don't see him with Ruby. Not Ruby Rose. Was it Ruby Rose?
No, it's
Amber Rose.
Amber Rose. Yeah, Amber Rose.
I don't see him out there with her. That's all I'm saying.
So. No, he's not. He might be, but he's off the internet. That's all I care about.
Yeah,
I don't care. You can be. Listen, you can be with the hoe, bro. Go get yourself. But like, get your ass out there and train tomorrow morning. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, get off the internet. You know, don't be on no podcast.
But they need to get with the offensive line. They need to be all together as a unit, figuring out what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I think C.J. Stroud he's good enough to be able to make the receivers that we have good enough if he can just have some time.
Yeah.
That's all he needs is just time in the pocket.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's really the biggest question going into this year. That's really the biggest kind of worry because, you know, because I've said it at nauseam. Is it the way they drafted and where they got and how they handled it all, and then the way they handled free agency made you think that they were going to do one thing and they did. So, I hope that they have the answers that they were looking for. I hope that they figured it out because I was a big proponent of trading um Larry Tunsil. I said that months before that during the season. I was like, "Good God, this can't be happening." And then so when they did it, at first I was like, "Cool." Then you see what they get back, and then you see how they fill the hole, and you're like, "I know I didn't want him, but he still was an all pro left tackle though." Like
Yeah, I think that's one of those things though. It's like you had to do what you had to do. Like I
maybe,
think it was one of those things
maybe,
like we
maybe
were so
y'all,
tired.
maybe everybody's right.
I think it was more so like a you didn't know what you had until it's gone situation. Like yeah,
Lit-
everybody was so mad at Laramie Tunsil, but then it was like
yeah,
after we traded him, it's like
it's like
who
it's
is gonna
seller's
be in that?
remorse.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
who's gonna be in that spot now? Like what? Like yeah, he sucked, but at least but he didn't though. You know what I mean? He pissed you
Yeah.
off, but he was good at his job.
But what makes it even worse is like it'd be one thing if we had a pretty good offensive line and we didn't have so many injuries at receiver. Like we had a healthy Tank Dell, maybe Stephon Diggs. Like, could you imagine Stephon Diggs come back and then maybe you trade Larry Tunsil and then you're like,
Well, I think this more so realistically now that I'm thinking about it again, I think this move that we did for the O line is more so like a not a hey, this is our plan to get better right now, but I think it is a we don't have as much money tied up into long contracts on the line that we have now. So it's like you suck, you're gone. Like I think it's more of a statement thing like all right, let's see what we can do, but if you're bad, you're done. You're out. I
I
think we're
hope
making that point that like, hey, we're not playing around anymore. We will find somebody to play this spot.
here's what I want to remind you and people out there. They are gonna know what this offensive line is gonna look like way before we know.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Well,
know
shit,
about
you could have said that last year though.
but that's what I was going to get. That's where I'm going. I was going to say they're going to know way before. So we're going to know about week 3. I think week 1 and 2. I think maybe I'll kind of give them a little bit of a if they kind of rock the boat a little bit. I'll give them a little. But once like 3 and 4 roll around, you are who you are in
Yeah.
my opinion. Like yes, maybe you get marginally better, but like
Yeah. Yeah.
you
I
know.
know what you're saying.
So so they're going to know way before. So if they start to suck, there's only one person in that building you can
I think
ask
we'll know
because
week
he knew
1.
last year too and did nothing, and then what happened happened.
Well, I think we'll know week 1. I think
We'll
I
have an
don't think
idea.
it's
I think we'll have an
I don't think
idea.
it's well, I think marginally we'll know. Like if CJ Stroud's back there getting shredded week 1, it's going to be a long season.
But
Cuz
also, we have to also keep in mind if he goes out there, he doesn't get touched for. I think we're gonna have to. I think maybe this year. I'm hoping that this year there's. I think it's gonna ebb and flow like it did last year, but I hope
well, I
there's
just
more.
think it's going to be more black and white than it was last year. Like last year it was like we were kind of in that gray area up until about week 4 or 5, and then we were like, okay, we suck. Like this is it, because they were doing so much talking. Like yeah, like they were kind of accountable towards the beginning of the
Right,
year. If you remember, they were like, yeah, we just got to do better. Like we're not playing good enough, and it's like
and then
okay, they
right,
seem hungry to get better. But and
right.
then afterwards, it was just like, yeah, bro, I don't know. Yeah, we just suck. I guess I don't.
Literally, that's so crazy. They were like, they were like, yeah. I mean, we're out here, we're trying, and it's like you're trying, like
Yeah, like that's the best we got right now. We're trying. Somebody's got to go, man.
we need.
Somebody's got
Can
to.
I get a little bit of effort, baby? Can I get a
Yeah,
little
give me
bit
a
of
little bit
effort?
of. All right, let's
Oh
get
man.
into this.
Oh
Let's get
yeah.
into. Let's get into this right here.
Here, let me
Can you,
take
can
the.
you
Yeah.
take that off? Now this isn't the. I would say this is a pretty outside of a couple teams. mostly these teams should be on the list ish.
Sure.
And it's a top 20, not top 25. I think Texas Tech doesn't need to be at 20, but outside of that, I can see most of these teams making a top 20 list. Maybe not Georgia Tech either. But outside of that, I think most of them I could see.
I mean,
Not in this order, but on the list.
yeah. I think South Carolina, like, yeah, okay, I guess you're right. Not in this order, but we're not here to talk about the list not in this order. We're here to talk about it in this order. So let's shred this and figure out where Josh Pate got it completely wrong. Yeah.
Okay, I think we'll work from back to front. I think is the move here. I think Texas Tech needs to be off this list.
Yeah. I'm maybe. Well, because here's the thing. Here's the thing about Texas Tech. Apparently during this off season, they've really put a lot of money into their roster. Apparently they've got a billionaire oil donor, and he's
Don't
really
care.
put a lot of money. I'm just saying if there were
I don't care.
if there was a jump, if there were a team to make a jump this year, I would not be surprised.
Well,
if it's
the fucking committee did this shit last year where they ranked people way
right?
too high before we even knew anything about them. We
Right.
don't know. Yeah, you can
Well,
spend $1 billion on your team. That doesn't mean they're going to be good.
There needs to be like a couple of chalk weeks, like in terms of like there needs to be like last year. I felt like it was Armageddon from fucking go. Like it was just
it was
immediately the world was crumbling, and it was like
everybody's like,
what is happening right now? You know, it's like So it was like trying to throw shit into a hurricane. You know, you didn't know where it was gonna go.
Yeah.
So there needs to be can we I say this, but you know, as a fan, I love that shit. I love that shit. Bring me the chaos. You know what I mean?
I think so. Well, I'm not gonna say I liked it. I could see
you were a victim of it.
I could see where somebody could like it. I'll give you that. I could see how it was entertaining. I didn't like it personally. Not a fan of it. And maybe if things went a little different, I would have been a fan of it, but I'm not a fan of it. Don't like it. Don't want to do it. I think for this list, I would have Georgia Tech and Michigan switch spots. Actually, I'd have Georgia Tech at 19, Texas Tech at 20, Michigan at 18 probably. I think South Carolina needs to be like Illinois. This whole list is so confusing to me.
Like I said, we get it. We know this was just a Pate. This has nothing to do with real life. But this don't make. But I like Josh Pate. I listen to his show sometimes.
So do I. I don't understand why he'd do something like this.
Like this is just.
I think South Carolina has way more upside than Illinois. I think Arizona should be ranked lower. They lost all the guys that got them to the playoffs last year, or most
outside of their quarterback.
Right. Miami, I don't think they got better.
And all they did was get coming off an injury, Carson Beck.
And we already know how we feel. If you were, I mean, there's one person or maybe three people that's ever seen this show, but if you remember last year, we had a hot take about Carson Beck that we got lit up.
They lit our ass up
for, and we knew it to be fact when we said it, and I know it to be fact again. I don't think. Oh, I think he'll perform better than he did last year, but not because he's gotten better, just because he's playing in a worse conference.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, for sure. He's definitely going to get aided by the fact that his conference.
For sure.
So, I mean, okay, so. Let's see. How do we feel about the top? So right now, how do we feel about top four?
Top four, I think Clemson does not deserve to be in the top four.
No. What is this? Because I've seen have you seen it too? Like, am I just crazy? Like, I am pretty confident that I've been seeing like so much love affair in the media with Clemson this offseason.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if they were.
Cade Klubnik's consistently ranked in like the top, and I like Cade. He almost beat Texas. So like I have all the respect in the world for Cade. He balled his ass out in Austin. So like this is no diss on Cade Klubnik.
I'm not buying the Clemson hype. I think
I'm not either
in the top 7 of the for real rankings.
Like I think this offseason Dabo took his first transfer recruit. Like this
I'm
this I
still
know
not. I'm just
he's
not buying the Clemson hype.
I'm not either. I'm not either. It doesn't make I'm not buying it. I'm not buying
I'm
it. I'm
not seeing.
selling it.
I'm not seeing how. I just don't know, man. This whole list, like, I don't think Penn State should be
State
way
is
up here.
I don't now I get it. I mean they're bringing Drew Aller back. I don't like Drew Aller. I think he's probably going to be the fourth or fifth quarterback taken next year if he goes. I think
I just don't
now
know if they have the.
they're two running backs, 2,000-yard running backs, two 1,000-yard running backs coming back. They've got some weapons. They've got some good defense. They got a really good defense.
I think Ohio State's rated. They're ranked way too low.
Are they? They're in the same position as you
Don't
said about
don't
Arizona State. Hold on.
stop it.
I'm not.
Stop
Hold
it.
on. I'm not saying this from a Texas perspective.
Quit
I'm
it.
saying this just here. Just
You just
listen to
hate
me.
Ohio State because they put
No,
BTA.
they did put BTA to. I'm not. This is no. I'm giving you the facts of the situation, and you tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
They lose offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. Defensive coordinator goes to Penn State, and they lose their starting quarterback, their top two running backs, their top two receivers, and
No, they didn't lose their not nary a top two receivers.
okay, they lost their one of their top two receivers. My
Sure.
bad.
I will say that.
Okay, and they lost a ton of guys on defense. They're in the same boat Texas is in, and it's an argument I'll listen to for Texas as well. I'm sure they have a bunch of dudes coming up that were really good, that were really highly recruited. But as you say, like you and I have gotten into plenty of arguments about, once you get to college, I don't give shit about your high school ratings. You got to perform, right?
Okay, sure. But I'm not seeing how Ohio State is one of those teams. They're in one of the big conferences. They're consistently at the top of that conference. They won the whole damn thing last year.
I agree.
I don't think it's fair to put them 8. They've got to be, you don't really see returning back-to-back national championship, especially with the history of Ohio State. Mind you,
I will say this:
this isn't like a
there's
1-year
yeah, no,
Cinderella
okay,
story. They've been good for a
they're a
long
blue
time.
blood for a reason, right?
Yes, they've been good. They've always been a top program. They won the Natty finally, got over that hump. I don't see why they would just all of a sudden fall off a cliff.
And I'll say this: there's got to be way more than one team gap between Ohio State and Oklahoma. That's it. I feel like that in and of itself is insane. Like what I don't what I what is
What is Oklahoma doing up there?
what is Oklahoma even doing on this list? And look, I know I'm a UT fan and it's OU sucks all the time, forever and ever. But they don't
I think Oklahoma is going to be good.
no way, bro. No freaking way.
I think they
There's
have
no
a good
shot.
defense. I
There's
think they
no
have a
shot.
really good defense.
They lost so many. There's no hold on. I want to look
Dude,
at
this is coming from an Alabama fan who is overly embarrassed that we lost to Oklahoma last year. I think that they're going to be better, way better not just better, way better than they were last year, for sure. Their defense is really good. It was really good last year. They just didn't have an offense to do anything with. I think this year they've kind of filled some spots out on offense. I think they'll be a much better team. Maybe not a top 10 team. I'm not saying they should be top 10, but I think I'm not mad at them being on a top 20 list. Maybe not in the top 10.
Okay. So let me for some perspective. Oh shit. Oh no, what is happening? What just happened? Okay. Just for some perspective. So get out. Get out of here. So here's the thing. So first of all, they were 12th ranked in the transfer portal, and I say this as a UT fan who's ranked 24. So like I'm not here to say that 12 that this is not, but I'm saying a lot of that is because of they did it in numbers, they did it in quantity, not in quality. So like you have some of these guys coming from McNeese, I think that is,
Jaden
or
Ott is a dog.
sure, he's one. Yeah, I agree, Jay. Okay, so you got one guy. Okay, they're getting guys from Cal. I mean, it feels like they're shopping at a different store, not Power Five. You know what I mean? Outside of Cal, Kennesaw State. Like they got 3 dudes from Kennesaw State. What are we doing here?
I mean, you can't be mad at him though. You can't. I mean, they've got to. They spend a lot of time. There's guys that are specifically hired to do their job, and that is to recruit guys that they like. And I think they did that. I'm not mad at them for it.
No, they and they brought in the hold on. They brought in the guy who ran the Senior Bowl. I'm blanking on his name right now. To be their GM. So that's kind of like his thing is finding those guys. So I think he may be able to find the diamond in the roughs.
Go back to Josh Pate's list, please, for me. I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Re-rank the top 5 for me.
Okay.
Actually, before you rank the top 5, answer me one question. In the nation, who do you think deserves to be at that number 1 spot? Deserves it. Who should be at the number 1 spot come regular season football, week 1?
I know you're baiting me right now. Truthfully, if we want to go off of your theory of this team has performed in years past, they won it all last year, then by all,
Ohio State, probably.
Probably should be Ohio State. Yeah.
But what is your answer? What is your answer?
You know my answer.
I know your answer. I just want to hear you say it.
I think Texas should be ranked number 1 going into next year. Yes.
Okay, now re-rank the top 5 for me.
Okay. Texas.
Don't get me fired up.
Texas, Ohio State, Penn State. Yeah, Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, and then Bama probably.
I know you do this shit just to piss me off.
I know you asked the question. No, you asked the question knowing you were going to get an answer, so you really just pissed yourself off.
It's okay because I will say this. A lot of people have us at the 11 spot or the 12 spot or the 13 spot. Bullshit. It's bullshit. I'm not going to go on a tangent right now. I think your top 10 or your top 5 re-ranking is wrong. I think putting LSU above Alabama is criminal.
What is your you got to step out of your fan shoes for 5 minutes and be objective. This is
objectively Alabama is a better all-around fleshed out football team than LSU is. Outside of the only thing that LSU has
based off
running
what?
back room, wide receiver room, defense.
You don't know though. You don't know. All you know is that last year y'all struggled, and then you lose people. Now, hopefully, now I know you guys had a good transfer class. You had a good recruiting class. All that's great. But like you said, you don't know. You don't know. But what we know is what we know.
But we know enough to put LSU ahead of us. LSU, that's what we know. We know that the team that lost to a struggling Alabama last year in a blowout at home should be ranked above them.
Okay, maybe that was trolling, admittedly, but
and they lost. They lost Kyron Lacy and Will Campbell.
Okay, admittedly, you could flip the two. You could flip the two. But we're
not just flipping the 2 because we're flipping the 3, baby. We're at the 3 spot. Give me the three
No,
spat.
for what? No, but no shot, dude. No shot. Penn State is better than Alabama.
No, wrong, incorrect, false. I will say this: the same way you felt about Texas last year is the exact same way I feel about Alabama this year. I don't think there's a team in the NCAA that puts fear into
How
my
can
body.
you say that? You lost to Oklahoma, dude. And this is the same Oklahoma you said is shit. So the same team that loses to Oklahoma but beats LSU. How do we? That's what Alabama. That's
That
Alabama.
is
That's
such
Alabama in a
a
nutshell.
that is such a weak. That is a Jalen Milroe problem.
You can't place every blame that you've ever had as a team ever on Jalen Milroe.
Not everything ever. It
That's what
is.
you just,
It is.
bro.
Jalen Milroe won us and lost us those games last year, single handedly, because our defense played well enough. After the Vanderbilt game, we played like a top 5 defense in the NFL. I mean, in the NCAA, it was ridiculous how good they were on the back half. And then you know the Oklahoma game and the Michigan game. You know, Milroe has the fucking 3 turnovers in the first quarter. And then in the Oklahoma game, we literally could not get a first down because, I mean, there's one guy that distributes. He touches the ball every play.
Dude,
He's the
yes, I
reason
understand that, but
you
it's an
distribute that
11
football.
it's an 11 person it's an 11 person game.
You can act like that. You can say that, and that's good and fine and dandy. But when
What
the
do you mean?
one person who touches the ball who's in control of the other 10 people on that side of the football can't get them the football or can't do what he's good at, you're probably gonna have some negative effects, right?
Sure. I'm not saying
So it's a 20. It takes 22 people to win a football game. But if I went out there and played starting quarterback for the University of Alabama, I'd almost
okay,
guarantee we lose every single
that's
football game.
that's not fair because Jalen that's not the same. You're not Jalen. You're definitely not better than Jalen Milroe.
Definitely
Jalen.
not.
So,
But to
so
say but to
it's
say
not
that
like it's not like he's
but to say it's a
incapable.
non-factor is crazy though.
He
You're
was just
sounding you're
drafted, and like we're not talking.
that's
It's not like
because of
he's
his floor.
incapable.
Jalen Milroe is
If
the
he was
guy.
so good, if he's so athletic, if he's so good, why couldn't he do that why couldn't he do that at Alabama?
He did do it at Alabama. He did it
But
to
he sucked
Georgia.
though.
He did it to LSU. He did it. That's what Jalen Milroe is the Jalen Greens of Michael Vicks. Jalen Milroe is the Jalen Green of Michael Vicks.
That's probably actually pretty accurate.
Because when he's on, when he gets going, he's the number one hardest to stop quarterback in the nation. That's why you don't pull him out because he can always turn it around. Per the USF game when we were almost deadlocked with him, and then he just went crazy in the last 2 minutes of the game to put us up by 4 touchdowns. That's why you don't bench him because he can always do that. But he can also always not do that and can't run the ball and can't hang on to the football and can't pass the football, and it loses you the game. Yes, it's 22 guys, but it is 22 guys, but you've got to mesh well together. You've all got to do your job for you to win the game. And if one guy doesn't do the job, then it is what it is. I think this year we're going to have more consistent quarterback play.
You cannot look me dead in my face and tell me you think that the quarterback play you're going to get this year is going to be somehow more dynamic and put you
I
on
didn't say
such a
dynamic.
level.
I didn't say dynamic.
But
Last year, the
you think
only
the
thing
quarterback
was
play you're going to get you think the quarterback play you're going to get out of Ty Simpson is going to be better than the quarterback play you got out of Jalen Milroe this last year? Look at me in my eyes and tell me that.
I didn't say better. I said consistent. There's the difference. All we need
Okay,
is
so if
the
it's
only
consistently
thing
bad,
the only thing that kept us from being the best team in football last year was quarterback consistency. Bar none.
I
Bar
had to
none.
take my
If
I had to
Jalen
take I,
Milroe
could-
was
I
a
had to take my
consistent
headphones
foot
off. You were
if Jalen Milroe
talking
was a consistent
blasphemously.
passer, if Jalen Milroe was a consistent passer, if he was just more accurate and could complete, if he was just a better passer, he is probably a Heisman winner right now. Alabama's probably maybe not a national championship, but in the playoffs, deep into the playoffs at least. So yeah, you take away some of that base level, that top level, high end athleticism in Ty Simpson, but he was a dual threat recruit, 5-star dual threat recruit coming into college. You can't. I mean, he's not a statue back there. He's got legs, and he's easily a better passer. And if he's not, Austin Mack is. And if he's not, Keelan Russell is.
You know what? If your plan is to just shuffle through quarterbacks till one works out, have at that.
Not the plan. I think Ty Simpson, you'll see. We gonna see. When we put up 75 on FSU week 1,
Oh,
we gonna
okay.
see.
Okay. I'm
While
not
y'all
sure
are over
that.
there getting drugged through the mud in Ohio
Oh,
State,
word.
when Arch Manning is getting biting sheets, when Arch Manning is facing the pillow biting sheets, and Alabama's up 72-0, then we'll revisit this.
Really?
And that's how I feel.
Okay. Well, I think that's pretty stupid. So
I
because
think you're
I'm
pretty
pretty,
stupid.
I think yeah, I think that I think you've lost your degree in ball. I'm gonna call whatever school you got it from and tell them that they let a student graduate who didn't deserve it. So because that's
Dude, you can't
blasphemous.
sit here. You cannot sit. Yes, the same team. What was y'all's record last year? We
ten
lost
and
the
two.
same amount of games.
Yeah, but the games we lost were so different.
Sure. Still lost the same amount.
So different. Oh, so now it doesn't matter. Now it doesn't matter what teams
No,
it were.
no, I'm
Oh
saying
no,
we
no,
still
no,
lost
no,
the
no,
same
no.
amount. We still
See,
lost the same amount of games.
losing to Georgia twice and Ohio State once is so different than losing to Vanderbilt and Oklahoma. Sorry.
And Michigan. And Tennessee. Okay, don't forget. We lost to all 4 of those guys. But I think we can both
We only
agree.
lost 3 games.
I think me and you can both agree that Alabama beats Vandy 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, but that's not how the
I
game
know.
goes. The game
But
goes how
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I
I
know
think
you
that was
need that. I know you need that. I know you need that.
I think that
So
was a
like, I
textbook
get it.
trap game that we fell for.
You're probably
Ryan
right.
Williams. Now, I will say this also. Just to touch on this one more time. Ryan Williams came out. The number 1 receiver in America.
That's all.
Ryan
That's
Williams.
you know how lucky you are to have him. You are so
Yeah.
lucky to have him. If you didn't
Didn't
have
y'all
him,
want
you
him?
have no. Yeah, man.
We would have
Yeah,
Jeremy Bernard. We would have Isaiah Horton. We'd have Jalen Hale. We'd have
yeah,
Rico Scott.
yeah. But none of those guys are Ryan Williams. Let's
Yeah.
not act like any of those guys.
Add Ryan Williams to that room, and guess what you have? The
The
best wide
same.
receiver room in college football.
Okay, we'll see. We'll find out. You gotta. Yeah, we'll find out.
Who's better?
I don't
Who's
know
got a better
every.
receiver room?
Us. Texas has a better receiver room.
Bullshit! Absolutely not.
Okay.
Okay, let me say this. Ryan Williams came out, and he said, openly admitted that a lot of guys last year were not bought in to Kalen DeBoer. A lot of the guys on the team last year they just weren't bought in. He said this year's a lot different. Everybody's bought in now, and you can tell that is a fact. That's not just him saying it just to get people hyped. That's a fact. You can tell that because we didn't lose any players on scholarship. We didn't lose any starters.
Okay. I mean, that's great.
I'm not saying
Listen,
I'm not saying y'all. I'm not saying yes. Neither did y'all, but y'all were bought into Sark. Not everybody was bought in last year.
Sure. And look, maybe I'll get. Maybe I'll get a second year bump. And listen. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that Alabama won't like. I'm not saying that they're not going to be good next year. Like they very
We're
well
top
may be.
3, not 3, not 2.
No, man. But see, that's where you're crazy. Like you can't know that right now.
I'm confident in my take.
I think your take is insane.
So okay, let me ask you this: what do you think y'all finish next year compared to us? What do you think y'all's end of the year record is, and our end of the year record is?
I mean, I don't.
Just guess. Give me a guess.
I mean, I would say probably. I mean, I'm picking Texas to win it all next year. So
you picked them to win it all last year, and the year before.
And they got not the year before that. I mean, they could have won it all 3 years. Yeah, they could have. They were close all 3 years in a row. Two at least 2 years in a row. Not 3, 2 years. So I mean, I haven't been so off base. They got to the same round both times. Admittedly, they didn't win it. So I guess I was wrong, but it's not like they were so far out the conversation. So I mean, and I would argue that this year, I could lay my case out to you, but you're not gonna you. It doesn't matter
I
to
just want the
you.
record. I just want your record prediction.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I would say probably Texas is probably 11-1, and then Alabama is probably 10-2, 9-3.
That's fucking insane. That's insane. Y'all play Georgia this year, yeah?
Yeah, and we
And
play
Ohio
Florida,
State?
and we play Florida, and we play Ohio State.
I see 3 right now.
I don't.
That's fine. Let's wrap
Georgia.
it up.
I think Georgia's gonna suck.
Let's wrap it up.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate anybody who came through and watched for a little bit. We have a viewer on Twitch, so that's cool. If you're hanging out with
Yeah, I
us on
don't know
Twitch,
who that is.
yeah, that's cool. I appreciate that. We got 3 likes as well. This is cool. Well, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know. Also, I think we're gonna be rolling out. We had a cool idea earlier today, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, have a great rest of y'all's night, and we'll see you later.
I ain't with that beefing on the net. Tell me what's next. Tell me what's next. I can't listen to the hype. Wanna know that you've been mixed with lies.